So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on learning about the key features of BMC Helix dashboards 24.3. I'm excited that we've got more than one presenter today. Before we get into the introductions, just a couple of reminders. You will remain muted until the end of the presentations and demos. However, we do have the Q&A section of Zoom. If you do have any questions during the presentations and demos, please put them in there. We will do our best to get those answered during the presentation. And then at the end, we will have roughly 15 to 20 minutes to answer questions live. So with that, I'm going to now hand over to our first presenter, Nikhil, our product manager. Over to you.
Thank you, Sam. And I'm excited to welcome all our participants to this webinar on the key features of BMC Helix Dashboards 24.3. As usual, we are excited to bring to you a new set of features that we are hopeful will help you become more successful with your implementation of service ops solutions within the BMC Helix suite. With this release, you'll see a lot of exciting features that will help you increase your adoption of dashboards. So let's get started. This is the agenda we have for this session. We'll talk about the core features, the core improvements within this release. There are also a few plugin improvements. As you know, plugins are part of Grafana. There are a few improvements for plugins. We'll also talk about improvements to Visual Query Builder and Reporting Metadata Studio. So these are our recent innovations that enable you to develop reports without having to write SQL. We introduced this in 24.2, but we realized that we'll have to continually deliver new value by introducing new features in these tools. We will talk about what's new in these tools. We'll also cover product demos on some of the important features. So let's meet our panel today. My co-presenters on this webinar are Yusuf Multanwala, Kshitija Marathe, and Uren Patel. All three of them are part of the product development team at BMC. So now let's look at what are the core features or core improvements in this release. The first and foremost is the upgrade of Grafana open source. So in previous versions of dashboards, we used Grafana 9.5. And now with this release, we are upgrading to 10.4. So you'll see a number of new features. The most striking feature you'll see is a completely new UI. Grafana continues to improve the UI, and we have seen significant changes, significant improvements in this release. You'll also see several new features, new plugins. You'll see improvements in localization. There's better support for translation on more interfaces than in the past. And we'll see the details in the product demo, but we see this is a significant jump from Grafana 9.5. Role-based access control. We introduced role-based access control in 24.2, and this allows you to assign permissions, firstly create custom roles, and for each custom role, you can assign permissions. We started introducing granular permissions for what each role can do. And with this release, we are introducing a few new permissions. For example, the ability to restrict report development to just form or just SQL or just Visual Query Builder. The most common use case we have heard from customers is that many customers do not want their report editors or developers to write reports using SQL or form. They want to enforce the use of Visual Query Builder. With this new permission, you can take advantage of this new permission to do just that. Enable this permission for certain roles, and add all your report developers to that permission. That allows you to control how your report developers develop reports. Scheduling reports. In previous releases, we allowed you to export to one FTP connection. With this release, we allow you to set up multiple connections. How can this be useful? You've seen that wherever the use of dashboards extends to multiple teams, multiple domains, these different teams often want to have different FTP servers or different directories on the same server for security reasons. For example, if you're using business workflows, the HR team may not want the reports that are exported to that or rather BWS specific reports. They may not want others to access that because of the confidentiality of data. This allows you to do just that. You can now set up an FTP connection for business workflows. And likewise, if you have other reasons for certain reports from service management or discovery or other products, you can set up multiple FTP connections on your Grafana instance. Another use case we heard was the ability to set up tenant-specific sender email address. So when you schedule reports, the person who receives that scheduled report, earlier they would see the sender email as no reply or don't reply at bmc.com. We now allow you to set up your own email address. You can set up what email address you want to give whenever your users receive scheduled report. So these are the core features in this release. We'll now go to plugin improvements. We've got improvements in the BMC crosstab, where we now allow you to display a subtotal. Crosstabs are very commonly used where you want to show data across two dimensions. But in previous releases, you could not add subtotals. With this, you can now insert subtotals for rows and columns, and that will help you make crosstabs even more. It will enrich your crosstabs with even more data. We're also excited to introduce a new plugin, BMC Table. Previously, there was the Grafana out-of-the-box table plugin. We came to know there are several limitations that Grafana had based on feedback that we received from many of you. We decided to introduce a new plugin, a new visualization called BMC Table. With this, you'll see several formatting improvements, how you can format cells, you can merge values vertically, you can convert a cell value to barcodes. Several customers want the ability to generate barcodes from cell values. You can now do that with the BMC Table plugin. Not possible with the table plugin, but you can now do it with BMC Table. You can also manipulate other font properties. You can dynamically set the height of a row. For example, if you have a long text field in your report, then you want the system to dynamically adjust the height of the row so that the entire text is displayed. BMC Table supports that. Likewise, word wrap is also supported. So all of these, we're sure will help you transition from the table plugin to the BMC Table plugin. Visual Query Builder and Metadata Studio. We've made a few improvements to Visual Query Builder. Calculated fields. So we received feedback that several customers want to use calculated fields when generating a query for creating variables. We now make these calculated fields available there. We also allow you to filter on certain string functions and date functions. Often you may want to manipulate the data filter based on functions. For example, if your data is not clean, you may want to remove the leading spaces or trailing spaces. So typically, if you were to write SQL on a database, you would use functions like ltrim, rtrim. You can now use ltrim and rtrim in filters for VQB. Likewise, you may want to manipulate the date function. So for example, just filter on the month or the year of report of an incident submitted date or weekday. Likewise, you can manipulate the time of the day. You want to filter on all, for example, if you're a service desk manager and you want to look at all incidents that are created between, say, in off-peak hours, 4 p.m. to midnight, you may use this function to filter on just the hour portion of time and set up a filter on that. So there can be several use cases for using these functions, but we are sure that with these functions, you'll be able to increase the adoption of Visual Query Builder. In Metadata Studio, we allow you to hide out-of-the-box metadata views. Why would you require this? You'll need this if you want to customize any of these views. The only way you can customize is you create a copy of the out-of-the-box view, then you add your customizations, like suppose you have any custom fields or custom forms, you add those. But having done that, you cannot overwrite what we ship out of the box. So you will need to hide the out-of-the-box view. So we allow you to do that. Another common use case is that suppose you've added a new custom field on your change form or incident form. You now want to make it available in Reporting Metadata Studio. Earlier there was a workaround available, but now you can quickly do that. You can quickly add custom fields. We can make those quick custom fields available in a metadata view. Yet another use case we have received from some customers in certain countries is that some countries have restrictions on data usage, that they want the law of the land requires that only users in that country have access to the data of records created in that country and so on. We allow you to create global constraints on Metadata Studio. A global constraint is a filter that you can apply on a view. For example, you want to limit that all reports on incidents on the incident view apply a condition on company equals. And then typically, if your company operates across multiple geographies, typically there's one company or at least one company for every country. You can now set the constraint that this is a view for Canada, for example. Then you can set that country equals Canada, or you set company equals your your Canadian company, and so on. When you apply this global constraint, it gets applied automatically on any dashboard that's developed on that view. It gives tremendous power to the admins that you no longer have to rely on report developers to add those conditions, thereby allowing you to comply with the law. With that, I'm now ready to hand off to other members of my team. I'm now going to let Yusuf present the first demo. Over to you, Yusuf.
Okay, thank you, Nikhil. Hello all. Good morning, good evening to all. How to share. Can anyone please just confirm if you're able to see my screen?
Yes, we can. Good.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. As said, this time we are upgrading Grafana from 953 to 1042, which is a major upgrade, major upgrade. Not only just in code sense, but also in the user experience sense, right? So I'll just get through all the major user experience changes across the application, right? So yeah, first thing that I want to share is the side navigation, right? So if you guys must be familiar about this, before this Grafana 953, we were using Grafana 8, and we had a docked menu here, right? And in Grafana 9, we got the undocked menu. Now with this Grafana 10, user has the preference to whether dock or undock it, right? So currently you see this menu is undocked, and only if I click on this pancake menu, I get this menu, and click outside, I get the whole screen for my dashboard, right? Which is currently my home dashboard, right? I can similarly dock this, and it will take this much space, and rest of the dashboard will fit into this thing, right? And if you would observe, this menu is lot more subtler now, right? More compact without having much padding or unnecessary space required taken for each item, right? And the similar thing you would see across the application, the same similar changes, right? So it is made much more compact, more user intuitive, right? Then going further into the menu, right? Previously, we used to have a node and the specific navigations under those nodes, right? With this Grafana 10 upgrade, we do have a new capability or a new feature where developer can define subnodes, right? So you see especially under this administration section where I'm an admin user, I can access the administration. I see two subnodes, general and user and access, right? So the user and access would have all the access users and permission related nodes. So I do have a subnode here, and then there is a general node where I have a default preferences for my tenant and the RMS Studio page where I can download the RMS app, right? Yeah. So, and apart from that, one more change you would notice is all the navigations or all the nodes, all the routes that are coming out of box from Grafana is aligned at the start, and all the nodes that are being introduced as an app plugin or whatnot would come after all the out of box nodes are done, right? So for example, this report scheduler, it's basically an app plugin that you would see this node has been moved to the last, right? And no changes to that. It would still work the same. You click on it and you go into the report scheduler, right? So I'll just show you once the like administration. You see in under administration, I used to see previously so many tiles, right? But I do see the subnodes now, right? If I click on particular subnode, then I would see the respective tile and respective node under it, right? So this changes on the navigation, the side navigation, docking and undocking of it, right? Then I'll go one by one across each route in the. Am I still audible?
You disappeared. You're okay again. Do you want to just repeat what you said, Yusuf?
It's better now. Okay, I'll just go into the dashboards, right? So there's a major change here, right? Previously, whenever user creates a dashboard, it can be tied to a folder or it can be left orphan, right? And all the orphan dashboards were bundled or were shown under the general folder before, right? So you would see a general folder at the top, and all the dashboards which are created without any folder would be displayed under that general folder. But basically, that's a logical grouping of those dashboards, right? Now, with this release, there will be no more general folder, right? And all the dashboards that has been created without any folder would be shown directly under this dashboards page, right? Without any logical grouping and putting it into the general folder, right? And with this, what Grafana has done, what real modification, what real feature here is, there is no more limiting the number of dashboards or number of folders for listing here, right? Previously, there was a limit, like you can, it would just show the first 1,000 folders or first 1,000 dashboards only under this list. But now it is now virtualized, and you can just scroll down and the new entries will get appended to the bottom, right? And anyways, there's always a feature, there's always a capability to search the dashboards or folders by name, right? Apart from that, you would also see the difference, the same difference which I mentioned before. It's a lot more compact without any more unnecessary padding, right? You would see the folder is having a folder icon now, right? I open this, it updates the folder icon. Then you would see a dashboard with dashboard icon respectively, right? Then previously, when you select a folder, the content, the sub-content of those folder would not be selected by default unless you open, select the folder and unselect and select it again, right? But no more. So when you're grabbing a folder, even though your subnodes are not loaded on the system, when you select it, it would calculate how many or what all subnodes that particular folder is having, and it would consider them all for the operation, right? So this is again one more key important thing that has been updated on this page, right? Apart from that, say for example, if I just want to select this, right? And since I'm selecting a folder, I cannot obviously move, but I can delete, right? So previously, when you click on delete, and there will be a confirm to delete the folder or the selected dashboard, right? Now, when you select a folder, you will explicitly get this message that what all you have selected, at least the number of the selections, right? And then you'll have to, user would have to type the delete word to confirm the delete, right? This is actually a part or an attempt to reduce the unnecessary delete from the application, right? Which cannot be restored. Right? So this is one thing. Let me just unselect this and go into the folder, right? Here again, you would see a lot of changes here, right? Previously, you would see 4 tabs here, right? Now only you would see 2 tabs, dashboards and panels, right? What all dashboards are under this folder and what all library panels one has created under this folder, right? Apart from that, the dashboard permissions and the dashboard setting has been moved to a lot more subtler places, right? Previously, in the settings page, you would go and change the name as a whole new page will be taken for that single operation, right? But no more. Here, you can just simply change the name here, press enter, and voila, your folder would be updated, right? To manage the permission, again, you would not have to move or go away from this page altogether. You can just click on the folder actions, manage permissions, right? And a side drawer would appear, right? And this is also one interesting thing you would see across the application. Such small operations or such dedicated operation to a particular resource are all moved to the side drawers. So there will be, you'll find a heavy usage of the side drawer across the application, right? So again, this is same as what you would do in the previous instance, where in the whole page you would see the list of permission based on roles, users, and teams, right? And then you can click on this add permission. You choose what you are adding, whether user, team, role, assign the permission to it, view, edit, admin, and save, right? That will remain the same. Let me go a step back to dashboards, right? Let me just select any dashboard, for instance, right? Let me just undock this as well. Here, you would see the dashboard mostly it's same, right? But again, subtle changes. There would you would see a share icon here before, right? To do all your share operations, but there is no more share icon here. Rather, that share has been moved to the right, the rightmost navigation as a button, right? So by clicking this, it would still open the same model, which was being opened when that share icon was clicked. So here, more or less, the options remain same. You want to share via link, snapshot, export, or download, right? This is the change on this particular page, right? Then the most change you would find on the dashboard settings, right? Previously, you would see a side navigation for all this different settings, right? Now you would see a top navigation, and this is what Grafana is generally following now for all the navigations or all the controls, that you would see either the top navigations or the top tabs for each individual operations, right? So similarly here, you would see side navigation here, vertical list for all these tabs, but you would find that it would show you this top tabs, right, which would give more space on the horizontal pan to do the operation, whether you are adding an annotation variable or you are viewing the whole dashboard JSON model, right? So yeah, this is the change on the dashboards, the user created dashboards. Right? Then talked about delete confirmation, right? Let me just do something. Yeah, maybe just update the range so that I can save this dashboard. Let me just update, save. Right. The message that you see here, right? It's a bit different, right? It went away, but you would have observed that it's based on the message. So it was a information message. So you saw a pale green model. And similarly for error, for warning, you would see the whole colored popover or the toast message for all the notifications. So this is not for just this, but for all the notification alerts that you see across the application, you would find this pattern, just like this here.
Can you hear us, Yusuf? You've gone silent again.
Am I back on?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's my earphone. Okay, so I was just explaining that the notification alerts that you would see across the applications have been changed or have been defined like this as per the type of the notification, right? Let me go back to the navigation which we were covering, right? Then connections, right? This is mostly for an admin user. Previously, Grafana introduced a connection node under the admin section, right? Which was showing you the connections, right? Which was an obsolete route. I'm not really sure what Grafana was doing with that, but now they have realigned it with the before implementation, and now the data source or all the connections that you have or the application has would be under this data sources, right? So only one node under the connections main node, and here you would see all the data sources, and I can just view my data source configuration here, right? This was the next thing. Let me just go to my list. Right? Yeah. Let me just create a new dashboard, right? So we talked about the dashboard main page. This is the panel edit, right? Let me just create a simple query. Let's say a very basic query. Right. So my incident number and priority, right? Here, mostly on the query tab, the things are pretty much same, right? In transform data tab, this is the tab which is mostly changed, right? Here you would see it's the UI layout has changed. The add transformation is now in center, and when you click on this add transformation, instead of showing you the transformation list here itself, which is a very minimal space to select from to judge what you want to do or to read the description, they are using this side drawer. As we mentioned, they are heavily relying on this, right? So you would see the transformations, all the transformations here. You can filter the transformation based on the type, right? You can search the transformation just like before. And apart from that, you see the transformation and also the pictorial representation of the transformation, right? So this is the new UI, right? Let me just add a transformation, and it would add a new entry here, just like before how it used to do, right? Now, let's take an example. I have some n number of transformations added here, right? I just want to maybe disable them all or delete them all, right? Previously, it was not available, but now you have this extra button through which you can just delete all the transformations all at once, right? So this is the other thing. Then let me just go back. As Nikhil spoke about the localization, right? Incrementally, so Grafana introduced the localization in 9, and they are just incrementally adding or making those localized label changes across the interfaces, right? And with this upgrade, you would see there will be so many new interfaces which have been localized with the 405 language which is coming out of box, right? So there are some changes on the localization as well. Then other major thing which Grafana was trying to do for quite a long time, and they had a plan for Grafana 10, but they could not just complete yet, right? What I'm talking about is the plugins which are running on Angular, right? So this is one such example. This is a panel which is using Graph old plugin, which is an Angular plugin, right? And Grafana is moving from Angular to React completely, and they have introduced this warning already for all those plugins which are running on Angular, that in the near upgrade, in the next upgrade, maybe in Grafana 11, that these all plugin support will be completely removed. So they have added this warning, then they are calling those plugins which are using Angular or which are dependent on Angular as deprecated, right? So you would see this message for all the such plugins, right? And in my guess, there are 3 such plugins that is already there on BMC Helix dashboards: Graph old, Pi old, and Table old, right? And efforts are being made for newer plugins and for the out-of-box dashboards to not use those plugins and to move to the newer plugins. Yeah. And you would see one last thing, right? You would see some subtle changes or some label changes across applications which Grafana felt changing, right? For example, this, right? Previously, you would see this label as a UI theme or something like that. But now they are calling it as an interface theme. So basically, this is your theme mode, dark, light, or system preferences, right? And it was a radio button, radio toggle before. Now it's a drop down, right? So such small changes as well with Grafana 10, right? And I guess that was it on Grafana 10 changes. I'll just hand it over to Kshitija for next item. Over to you, Kshitija.
Hey, thanks. So myself, Kshitija Marathe, I'm going to cover reporting metadata studio and visual query builder enhancements. I'm sharing my screen.
Nothing's come up yet. Kashita, that's it. I think it's come up. Yes, perfect. You were there.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I'm on to reporting metadata studio screen. I have just logged into metadata studio, and we had lot of requirements from lot of customers regarding supportability for custom fields in metadata studio. Whenever we are trying to have custom metadata views created in metadata studio for a particular customer's requirement, then we usually came across that we need to add custom fields also and make it a part of metadata view. So I'll cover that part first. So as an example, I'm taking incident management view, which I will yeah. So I'm just importing incident management view, which is out of the box provided by BMC. And now, as per my requirement, I want to add some additional columns into the existing view. So if you look at this existing view, I'll here quickly add the connection credentials. Once my connection is successful, I'll hit OK, and now you will see these 5 to 6 tables are available already. And as a part of custom fields, I have added two couple of more fields into HPD help desk, because it is my particular requirement and I want to get those fields from Remedy database into the metadata view. So how I can do that? So if we go to the business model, and at business model level, we have added new option. If you right click here, you will see refresh option. So what this refresh option will do, it will just refresh and get the refresh all the tables which are added already and are part of the view. If, for example, today I have 100 fields available in HPD help desk, then after refresh, you will see more fields which are particularly added by customer and are only available on custom Remedy database. So I will just take example of HPD help desk here, and I'm navigating through the list of fields, and here you will see after this there will be new fields which will get added when I click on refresh. Refresh action takes around some seconds of time, and it refreshes the metadata. And once it is refreshed, you will see the updated list of fields available there. So that's about the refresh. We'll come back here. I'll considering the time, I'll just cover the next part of it, which is defining filter criteria. So again, this is again second enhancement on reporting metadata studio. So sometimes what happens if as an service desk manager, I want to only see incidents which are related to a particular site or a particular region, then I want to have that additional filter criteria or global constraint to be applied at metadata layer. So yes, we can add that filter criteria whenever we are editing a panel, and we can add that criteria in where condition in the query as well. But I want that additional criteria to be added globally, so that I don't have to add it explicitly. So what I mean is, so this is existing change management view I'm using here. And you can see change infrastructure change table. And if I edit this, this is a business table. And here you will see new property, which I'll add. So data constraints property you will find here. Once I add this, you will see the global constraint. So here, what we'll do is we will add this criteria. So I have just pasted this criteria, what it is exactly. So infrastructure change dot site equal to Boston Support Center. So you need to follow this certain criteria, like you need to have business table ID, then business business column name, and what value you want to put it as a filter criteria. So once you follow this syntax and you hit OK, then I'll save this. Yeah, now it is saved, and I'll go ahead and publish it. once you will see the view is published, then we'll go back to the Visual Query Builder screen and see the criteria will get added when you will use the change infrastructure change table. So now the view is successfully published. I will go back and here I'll create a new dashboard and add visualization, select Visual Query Builder here. And here you will see, okay. Yes, CM demo 123, that's what I had given a name to my custom view. And what I'll do now, I will just select infrastructure change ID and I'll hit preview. So you will see I have not added any filter here explicitly. But if you look at the SQL which is formed, it is having the criteria which we have just added at a metadata layer. So whenever I'm using this, I'm selecting column from infrastructure change table, then it will look up for the additional filter criteria configured. And if there is any additional criteria at metadata layer, then it will put it in a where clause explicit without you defining it here. So that's the beauty of this global constraint feature. Then let me move to the next, which is in the administration, you will under general, you will see default preferences. So what we have added recently is here you will see manage service management query types. So what it do, this setting is meant for managing the visibility of query types. So there are under service management, you have form, SQL, and Visual Query Builder by default available. But for example, in your case, you don't want report designer to have these two options, like for example, form and SQL, you want to disable from the report designer, then you can do that. And then after saving this setting, you will only see, report designer will only see Visual Query Builder option whenever generating a panel in the dashboard. And apply to admins. So if you want to apply same setting to the reporting admin role as well, then you can tick this or check this option and you can save these changes. Yeah. So once and also we have provided option to manage the visibility of out-of-the-box metadata views. So here you will see the second option, enable out-of-the-box views for Visual Query Builder. By default, it will be on, but if you, like in Visual Query Builder UI, you don't want out-of-the-box views to be visible, then you can make it off. And then in that case, you will see only custom metadata views which are created by you. So I'll just go here and I'll create a new dashboard quickly. And so here you will see the two options are hidden now, SQL and form type. Only Visual Query Builder option is available for me. And here you can see still we have out-of-the-box metadata views are available because they are visibility is we have make it as on. So if we want to hide, we can use that option to hide the metadata views which are provided as out of the box. Apart from this, so as Nikhil mentioned about some functions which we have made available. So if you can see here assigned group, then there are some string functions available: upper, lower, ltrim, rtrim. These functions are available newly so that we can start using this. So if I apply upper function, then it will start working and showing it in a uppercase. Like this, in a numeric type of a field, also we have certain aggregation options available. Then if you then on the filter section, quickly I'll cover that as well. In a variable, when you are adding a variable, earlier we were not having calculated fields added whenever we are using query builder for creating a variable. So now if you will see in all the views, you will see calculated fields available for so if you want to use this calculated fields in the variable query, you will be able to make use of it. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to cover as a part of Visual Query Builder and Metadata Studio enhancements. With that, I'll hand it over to Urain to take care of further improvements. Thank you.
So while
yeah.
Udain shares, just there's one question, Kshitija.
Yeah.
When you add a global constraint, is it applied to existing dashboards also?
So
Will it
no,
apply, or will it apply only to new dashboards you create on that view?
yeah, it will be applied to new data. I mean, if you have existing panels, then it will be only applicable to the new queries which you will generate using that view. Because once the query is generated, then that query is not really connected to the metadata view.
Okay.
If you are not
Thank you.
editing it. So if you try to edit it again, then you will see that difference.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kshitija, for the demo. So yeah, I hope you can see my screen. It's visible.
Yes, it's all good.
Perfect. So yeah, I think we in last webinar we already gone through some PDF enhancements or improvements which we are doing in the table plugin and cross-step plugin, and there are a couple of more enhancements which we have done as part of 24.3. So I'll just wanted to quickly walk through on all the and just wanted to summarize what enhancements we have done. So if we talk about, so first of all, how you are gonna enable, so it's not by default enabled from 24.3. For that, you have to just go to administration general. I mean, this can be only done by tenant admin. And in default preferences, there is one specific toggle option, which is export complete table in PDF. So that needs to be enabled, and then only all the table plugin and cross-step plugin reports you are going to get with new implementation, which is kind of having all the features. So if I'll show you one quick sample dashboard. So here I'm having, let's say, multiple table panels, and there is a kind of a mixed panel. I'm having one cross-step panel as well. And there are multiple different types of data with different types of color coding for cell level colors, text colors, and there are hyperlinks, there are text alignments, everything are there. So as you can notice that at header level as well, I have customized my text alignment at the data level too, added hyperlinks, added background cell colors, and yeah, at the text level as well, we have provided different colors. So all kind of customizations, variations I am right now having in this dashboard. So if I generate this with older older implementation before we can say 24.3 or older release. So this is how we were getting the report where the main part was the data was not coming up properly in terms of we were doing the trimming at each cell level. Apart from that, all the columns were not dynamically scaled. The rows were not coming up dynamically, not divided those rows in multiple pages. So we were somewhat retaining the colors and the scheme and the theme as well, but the data was not coming properly. So the same issue was there for the cross tab as well. So now with this new implementation from 24.3, as you can see, the header level text alignment is maintained. All the row level text, the text alignments, everything is maintained. If you are having hyperlinks, then you are gonna get the hyperlinks. And the main part is header is gonna repeat on each and every page. With that, all your columns are gonna dynamically scaled in single page. So now no column chopping and all the rows are dynamically divided in pages until and unless all the rows are visible and properly output in the PDF. So yeah, so if let's say you have custom threshold values as well, then you can have the colors for those threshold values. Apart from that, if you are having different background colors for each and every cell, for each and every column specifically, you can specify column level colors as well, background colors and text colors. So everything is we are trying to fetch and generating in the output PDF. So these are all the sample output PDF. So this is the simple landscape layout. So just wanted to show and also wanted to clarify that whenever you are enabling that toggle, we are only supporting all these features in simple layout. We are not supporting in grid layout. The purpose of grid and simple is different. So mainly we are supporting this with simple layout, and we are supporting this with scheduler as well. If let's say you are scheduling PDFs, and if you select simple layout, then you are gonna get the same improvements in the PDFs which you are receiving in the emails as well. So as you can see, all the colors, sorry, yes, all the text colors, everything is coming up as expected. And if I show you, so this was the landscape layout. You can have the same way in the portrait layout as well. Everything is same. Yeah, just in terms of layout, orientation, we can say it's a portrait layout. Now, apart from that, we have introduced one more thing where we found that many customers are having a quite number of columns. So some customers are having 5 or 7 or 10 columns, let's say, for one table plugin, and some customers are having more than 15 columns. So there are chances that, let's say, with new dynamic scaling, when we are trying to fit all the columns in a single page, it's pretty hard for us as well to just count the level of text or the text size which you are having at the column level, and based on that dynamically providing the width. So sometimes we are seeing this behavior as well. When you are having, let's say, more than 15 columns, some columns are not getting proper space which they should, and because of that, as you can see, the page number is 521. So this report is generated with 521 pages and only 4 or 5 rows, right, in a single page. So to resolve that sort of issue, your data and in terms of layouts as well, that which layout fits well. So we have included this option, which is called table scaling, and we have provided you 2 options, dynamic and fixed. Dynamic is the default option, which is the one which I have shown you. And this table scaling option is we also included in the report scheduling screen as well. So if, let's say, you are creating a new report scheduler, then you are also having this dynamic and fixed table scaling options there as well. So when you, let's say, select fixed and when you generate the report, then this is what we are generating. So as you can see, we are dynamically dividing width to each and every column equally. And so that now from 521 or 71 pages, now the report is drastically reduced to 71 pages. And you are now having more comprehensive report and multiple rows in a single page, which makes more sense to read and go through. So this is, and it also decreases the size of the report as well. So this is what we newly introduced, the table scaling feature. And yeah, so these are all the PDF improvements which we have done as part of 24.3. And the second demo which I wanted to give is regarding the new subtotal feature in the cross step. So before going to that, I mean, we are also supporting these PDF improvements for the cross step plugin as well. So as you can see, all the headers, if you are having row span, call span merge, everything is gonna repeat as well on the next page. So yeah, so coming back to the subtotal demo. So as you can see right now, so this is my sample cross step panel where I'm having the total enabled. Now there were a couple of customers asking for the subtotal. So if let's say I'm having this submitter with one value, I'm having multiple sub values as owner, test 1, test 2, and these values are also kind of row span merged, right? So we wanted to see the subtotal for this kind of structure, right? So in that case, we have added one new option. So the requirement, the basic condition will be that you need to have more than one row field. So if let's say you have only one row field, right, then it doesn't make sense to show the subtotal because the total is the subtotal in that case. So if let's say you are having more than one row fields here, so I'm having let's say 3 row fields, then the second condition is you need to have the total enabled. So if let's say the total is enabled, then we have added this new toggle, which we say show the subtotal row. If I enable this, right, then the subtotal is enabled automatically. So now also we have added 2 new options. The other one is regarding the selecting the subtotal column. So let's say for which column, let's say you wanted to enable the subtotal. So here I've selected the owner right now. So I wanted to enable the subtotal for owner. So as you can see, subtotal is a row is added for each and every owner entry. So for all the row span merges, I'm showing the subtotal, which is kind of pretty comprehensive and easy to view. And also, if let's say I choose submitter, then yeah, the submitter, the row subtotal row will be enabled for the subtotal for the submitter row. And as you can see, all the calculations will be done and the subtotal will be applied here as well. And the good part is this subtotal row is directly, I mean, if applicable based on the aggregate function as well. So if let's say you change the average, let's say you wanted some count, etc., then it will be directly applicable here as well for each and every subtotal row, and that will be count based on the selected aggregate function. And apart from that, we also added the background color for the subtotal header background color. So if let's say you wanted to just let me
Hey,
save
time check.
this. Yeah,
Oren, we
sorry.
need to hand off back to
Yes,
Sam.
so it's
Do you
done.
have any
Yeah.
concluding remarks before this?
Yes, so I'm done. So this is how the subtotal is gonna display, and it's gonna come in the output PDF as well. So yeah, I'm done with my demo. Thank you, Nikhil.
Back to you, Sam.
Back to you.
Thank you. If you just want to pull the slides up, I've just got a couple of helpful guides for our customers just to share. And then I also want to just introduce Angela, who's going to talk about the design partner. So if we can just go back to the slides. Okay, so additional resources. Don't worry about taking these links, everyone. We will be sharing these out. So I'm working quite closely with the documentation team. I know a lot of challenges and feedback I often get on webinars is where can I find this content? What is the most useful? So working closer with them now, I will try where possible with any webinars we present, in this case for dashboards, we will find the right content for you and put them into the slides. So just take a note of these, and these will be shared out on the slides either later today or tomorrow. And then I want to hand over to my colleague, if you can just click the next slide. We are fortunately joined by Angela, who works in the UX team. So Angela, if you want to come off mute and just talk about how our customers and partners can get involved.
Yes, hi everyone. I lead our UX research team at BMC, and what we do is we set up sessions and we partner with customers to understand what their needs are and also to get their feedback on new concepts and designs to ensure that we are aligned with all the needs that you may have. If you are interested in becoming a design partner and being part of these types of sessions, we would love to have you. And if we go to the next slide, you will receive, I think, a link that will be provided following the webinar in the email. Thank you, email. You can sign up there or use this code here to go ahead and sign up. And then once you do that, we'll be able to send you communications when we have activities that match your needs. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela. And then the final slide is just some of the useful recordings. Some of you may have joined some of our workshops, so I'm going to be listing those every time we have a new event or something related to dashboards. And again, for our other products, we'll be putting them in there. So today's link will be for a future session that we'll be doing. We're also doing a smart reporting on the 21st of August. So those customers that haven't migrated and still need some help, I will share that link in the thank you email for where you can sign up, and that will be August the 21st. So with that, I know we've gone over time. If there is any questions from the audience that's still left, I'm just going to unmute you. Feel free to come off mute if you want to ask any direct live questions to us. And thank you for the panelists and also for our team for putting this together. Does anybody else have any questions? Feel free to come off mute. I don't know. Oh, hello.
Hey, hi, my name is Michael. I've got a question about the folder. We have got presented. We have folders and new folder structures. Is there any plan for having subfolders instead of having 1,000 folders or no unlimited folders? It would be more useful having subfolders, just like we had in a Yellowfin before.
Yes, that's a roadmap item. We are considering doing that in one of our releases, but I cannot give you a date yet. But yes, it is a roadmap item.
Yes, it would be very helpful and
Sure.
makes life much easier for working
Certainly.
with teams. Great.
Certainly. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback and question.
And
Okay.
there's another question. We have got presented we can implement graphics into reports. For instance, if we get a value 1 or OK, we could make add a graphic to this. Is it possible to export this graphic in PDF or Excel, as we had before in Yellowfin?
Is your question whether you can export a report to PDF?
Yes. No, if we add a graphic into a report.
A graphic into a report, like a
Yes.
bar chart, a pie chart, like that?
Yes or no? If you said there was a point in the presentation we can add graphic into reports. A PDF or no, not PDF, a JPEG or something like that.
An image?
An image, yes.
Right.
Urain, are you there? Can you answer?
Yes, Nikhil. Yeah. So that's something. I mean, in that table plugin, we are introducing that in the table panel as well. You can include the images, and I think it's roadmap item to just include it in the exported PDF version as well.
Yeah. Okay, and in all formats. That means in PDF, Excel, and Word.
Yes. Yeah.
My internal clients love Excel reports, not PDF. That's maybe the point. Okay, but we will see.